Lesson number 24 lecture. This is your last lesson of your pre-calc book because we're not going to do lesson 125 because it's a graphing calculator. So this is a happy moment. Point of division formula. So there's a little formula right here. Basically what we're doing on these is they'll say something like find the coordinate of the point that's 3/4 away from, they'll give you an ordered pair or something. So you can read this if you want, but I mean, maybe you should. I'm going to do some problems for you though. So what's this little formula? This says that the change in x is you go x2 minus x1, find out, the distance, and then n over d is supposed to just be the fraction. So they'll give you a problem like find the coordinates of the points that are 3/5 from 2, 2, or 3/5. I'll just do a problem for you. Okay, so this is the same thing. N over d is just a fraction like 3/4 or something. And this is the distance between 2 points. Before I show you any of this stuff, I'm going to do a problem for you because I think it makes it really confusing using all the letters in here, and I think if you just see it with the numbers, it'll be better. Like, I kind of made up my own little one. If I asked you, where would this little dot land what's the point that's 3/4 of the way between 1 and 5? Where's the point 3/4 of the way between 1 and 5? Well, you'd probably want to figure out the distance between 1 and 5. So you can just count it. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go 5 minus 1 is 4. Well, that's kind of what they're doing with their point of division when they're going 3/4 times x2 minus x1. That's what they're doing. They're finding 3/4 of the distance. Okay. So I go you go x2 minus x1 to get the total distance, and then I want 3/4 of that number. So I'd go 3/4 times 4, that gives me 3. But then you see what happens is 3 really 3/4 of the way from the beginning to the end? Well, I mean, hopefully you can see it's not. If I want 3/4 of the way, I'd be at 4, right? That's because I have to add the initial point back on to the end. So you get the fraction times the change in x, but then you have to add x1 onto the end. So for problem number 6, where's problem number 6? Find the coordinates of the point that lies, it's 3/4 again, of the way from that ordered pair to that ordered pair, or from P1 to P2. So you're going to use this little formula that they give you right here. That thing, 3/4, and then you're going to go P2 minus P1, or x2 minus x1. But then you're going to have to add x1 to that. Kind of because like this diagram that I showed you right here. It should kind of make sense. The second problem I do for you will help it make sense more. And also, if you just read all the words, like read this page and read these pages right here. So anyway, I'm trying to find the coordinate that is 3/4 of the way. So I find the change, 3/4 times the distance between x2 and x1, but then I have to add x1 to that. So I'm going to distribute my 3/4 to both of these, but then I have to add x1 to that. Okay, so, and I wanted a common denominator, so I did 4/4. So that gives me 3/4 x2 plus 1/4 x1. So in my answer, I got 1/4 x1 plus, I just put x1 first, plus 3/4 x2. And you do the same thing with y. 3/4 y2 times 3/4, or negative 3/4 y1, but then you have to add y1 to that. Where did I do that? 4/4 y1. So that the negative 3/4 and the positive 4/4 makes 1/4. So you have 3/4 y2 and 1/4 y1, but I want to write it as 1/4. I want to write the y1s first, so 1/4 y1 plus 3/4 y2. There's the whole answer right there. There's actually the whole problem if you can see it. Alright, so hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. I'm going to do the next problem now. The next problem is better because it actually has numbers in it and it makes it a lot easier to understand. So I need the coordinates of the point that is 1/4. Let's read it the proper way. Where did it go? Find the coordinates of a point that lies 1/4 of the way from 2/4 to 6/6. So the onesies are 2/4, because that's my initial point. And then the twosies are 6/6. So I know I'm going to go 6 minus 2 to get my distance, and then I'm going to times it by 1/4. Okay, but then I have to add the 2 to that. So 6 minus 2, that's 4 times 1/4, that's 1 plus 2, that's 3. That's x. And if you look at the picture, there's the initial point, right? And I'm going just 1/4 of the way horizontally because I'm doing x's. So the whole way across from this point to that part, if I go across the bottom of the triangle, would be 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. So I'm only moving 1, right? But to find that ordered pair, the ordered pair isn't 1. It's 1 plus wherever I started from. That's why we keep adding the initial starting point once we find our distance. So now I'm going to do the y's. So I'm going to go y2 minus y1. Well, that's going to give me 2 times 1/4. That makes 2 times 1/4. That's 1/2 plus 4. So y is going to be 4.5. And I can imagine it if I look right here. The whole distance is 2. So 1/4 of that would be 1/2. But that doesn't mean that my y-coordinate's 1/2. It means my y-coordinate is the initial coordinate plus 1/2. Okay, because that's the initial y-coordinate plus 1/2. So I hope that makes sense to you, why you have to add the first coordinate again. Otherwise, I would have got an ordered pair that was wasn't even anywhere in between. So this is actually my point. My point is 3, 4.5. Did I write that down somewhere? Let's write it like this. 3, and then let's check it. 1, 2, 3. That seems about right. That's about 1/4 of the way from point 1 to point 2. Like if I measured that, that's about 1/4 of the way. I hope that makes sense to you. Read in your book if that didn't make sense.